Mud! I'm Morgan. I'm a huge dirt biker, and today we're going to talk about Adobe mud. I live in Montrose, Colorado. That is western Colorado, over relatively close to the Utah border. And I get lots of comments from YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all the places that when I don't ride because it's wet or because it snowed and it's melting, because they ask me why I'm not going to go ride. I say, well, it's because it's muddy. And all you guys from the East Coast, or even just anywhere but here, yell and scream and, oh, you weenie, I can't believe we ride in the mud all the time. If you don't ride in the mud back here, you don't ride. I have a little story to tell you guys about Adobe mud. It's from the perspective of my friend Chance Ackerson, or not perspective, but it's his little story we had just this last weekend. So while I was out shooting this, Chance was out riding in the Adobes. Now, I was riding up Eagle Valley, staying in the rocks, staying up high, and as I came back towards the truck, I started to dart off into the Adobes and immediately noticed that it was muddy. Did everything I could, spinning the tires to get back to the road, and headed on back to finish the video. Chance and his buddy Jose, my buddy too, headed out, and they went and rode a trail called Moonlight Mesa, and they're heading over towards another trail called Slaney Bridge. Now, some of those parts of those trail are in the kind of rocks and steep stuff where it's actually okay. But as they got further south towards more Adobe softer dirt, they ran into a bit of a problem. I ended up getting a text. I didn't see it right away, basically asking for help. And there was nothing I could do because, first of all, it was too late. They had already figured some things out. And then also, I don't have a big, nasty four-wheel drive truck. But let me show you a few pictures of what Chance's bike looked like. Now, as you can see, it is absolutely caked in this mud. It is top to bottom gnarly mud. And it's hard to explain this stuff because it's slippery, like the fact that you can't even really stand up on it, but then it also sticks to the bike like it's concrete, and then it will stop the wheels turning, which is exactly what happened to Chance. He ended up having to walk back. I was sitting in the parking lot getting ready to leave, and I see him walking down the Water Tower Hill. If you guys have ever been to Peach Valley, it's the hill just due west of Peach Valley, and it's ridiculous steep, and here he comes walking, and his buddy Jose was two up riding him back on the more mellow parts. He had to walk down the steep stuff. And he came back, and he's like, Morgan, what do I do? My bike is, he showed me the picture, and I had to laugh because if anybody's lived here or been here long enough in the Montrose area or Grand Junction or anything like that, you know that this is kind of a thing that happens. People get stuck in the mud here. It is just a thing. Most people have had at least one or two stories of them hiking out or friends hiking out and then having to go back later. So he asked me what to do. I was like, well, I don't know. Where exactly is that? So he explained to me where it was. And unfortunately, it was on the wrong side of a really nasty ditch from a road. So they couldn't get it to the road, which was drivable because it's got road base and all that stuff. So basically, they were going to have to bring it back the way they had gone out, which is a very long way over lots of mountains and things like that. So he said he had a friend come with a side-by-side. I'm like, man, side-by-sides get stuck out there too. I don't know how bad it is around there because I couldn't really tell him the picture. And he's like, it wasn't horrible. And Jose did ride out. So one guy got out. The problem is if you slow down too much, it balls up and it sticks so bad that the wheels won't turn. And you try to clean them out, they roll, a quarter of a turn and then pack back up. So if you can keep your momentum up, you can make it. But when you don't, you're kind of stuck. So we looked at the weather because the other option is to just leave it there and come back. And it looked like it was supposed to snow that night or the next morning and then be snowy, which it is now, for the next week. So there really wasn't any awesome option. So I said I had to go because I had friends come over for dinner, and I said, super sorry, nothing I could really do anyway because I just have my van and my dirt bike, which I'm not taking back out there because I don't want to, we don't want to stick more motorcycles out there. So I asked him later that night, I sent him a message and said, hey, did you make it out? He's like, yeah, I made it out. And he sent me those pictures that you saw, and he explained that what they did is they took the side-by-side, they got close to it, but not right up next to it, took a rope, walked in there, lassoed the motorcycle with the rope, and then drug it on its side all the way back to the truck. So if you know Peach Valley at all, if you're from here or you've been here and you're sitting at Peach Valley, that's where his truck was, at the main parking lot. He was up the Water Tower Hill, over and back off the other side towards that road, but couldn't get to that road, so he had to bring it back up, over and down and on it, just on its side, because he tried standing it up, but it wouldn't, it wouldn't roll. It just kept falling down, so they drug it on its side all the way back. So unfortunately I'm only laughing because I've been there. I've stuck bikes out there. I've fortunately never had to do that, but I've had some like harrowing moments, and I have so many friends that have. But unfortunately, bike is not the same as it was when he started that day. It's going to take quite a bit of effort to fix it. The clutch is junk, unfortunately. He, as he was trying to ride out, he burned his clutch up, so it wouldn't go forward anymore. And then he's not 100% sure about the motor because it got really, really, really hot, so motor might not be awesome either. And then, as you saw in the pictures, he's got broken plastics and stuff like that. And it's going to take probably $50 at the car wash to wash it, because that stuff does not want to come off. It dries like concrete. It's absolutely out of hand. So that's what this whole video is about, is an education. Hopefully you guys watch this. If you're ever out here and it's wet or muddy and you come in and talk to me and say, how is it? And I say, don't go. There are days that I say don't go that it actually ends up being great, but most of the time when I say don't go, it's because you could end up with a bike like this. I don't want you to end up with a bike like that. I want you to keep your bike in good shape. It ruins brake pads, it ruins chains and sprockets, it ruins really a lot of things. So anyway, cautionary tale for you guys. That's our Adobe mud. You guys back east and in different kinds of dirt, have fun in the mud, go whatever, all that. This is a different world. Hope you guys like that video. We'll see you on the next one.